Okay, folks, we're here today in Medford, New Jersey on a leak repair. And we were called out to this home. As you can see, this is a extremely nice area. All of the homes in this area are right in the neighborhood, just shy of $1 million each. So very nice area in Medford. When we were called to this home, we were here to look at wind damaged shingles. And when I got a look at the estimate, the person had already completed an insurance claim. We were able to see that there was a lot of money allotted there for finished work, carpentry. And whenever you have a leak that's, makes its way all the way into the home, obviously putting the cart before the horse would be addressing the interior finished work before you actually had diagnosed correctly the ingress where water was penetrating. So I was able to determine very quickly when I inspected the shingles that were to be repaired, the wind damaged ones, that was not where the leak was coming from. So I asked to get into the attic to see the underside of the roof deck just to verify. There was not even a drip of water, no staining, no rotting, nothing coming in at all. So then finally I asked the homeowner just to take me to the portion of the home where the water was coming in. Where that evidence was just over his foyer, right, which is over this main dormer that we're sitting on. And when I came and inspected, I could see that the J channel was in place, completely throughout these dormers and done correctly, notched correctly, the whole nine. What we determined, there was a portion from about here to here where instead of it being a continuous length of J channel was cut. And then we could also see that there was step flashing exposed in the joints of the shingles just for about that same 2-foot length. In addition to that, the J channel itself was just in terrible shape, mangled. And I was confused because typically you wouldn't find somebody who did work as well as you see it in the rest of these areas and one that shoddy. So we were able to determine that at some point somebody came up here and made those repairs. That's why the step flashing was only showing in that 2-foot section. That's also why instead of a continuous piece of J channel, we found one that was chopped up in the area that was being worked on. They didn't swap it out and put a continuous 8-foot length here, right? And then on top of it, they didn't even swap out the J channel, which is why it was so mangled and bad shape. It probably looked good enough on the day that they took it out and muscled it back in there. After heat hits it, over a couple seasons, it was bent up and contorted, badly, almost like it didn't look like the same person had done that work. So obviously the repair afterward, different mechanic, not as careful, not as, not anywhere close to paying attention to details the way the builder did. So the only way that we can ensure, right, that we correct this problem is just to tear out the entire 8-foot length. And what we're going to do is put some step flashing first, right? Then we're going to cover that step flashing with ice and water. We're going to use Grace Select today because we want to make sure, since we're going up the wall, that it really adheres. And then we will shingle it with step flashing the proper way, installing each shingle and each piece of step flashing on the way up. And then finally, we'll take another piece of Grace Ice and Water Shield and just cover the top portion, the wall portion, not the roof slope portion, the wall portion of the drip edge, so that it's locked in from the back. And again, we start it with a layer of metal as well. If we do that correctly, we should be able to just install the piece of J channel, which we have a brand new piece of J channel, and that should be about it. Close everything in. We'll get, new shingles and step flashing in, and then closed in with the J channel. So we just stripped it. We were in the process of just brushing out this joint. We didn't want to bring a blower up here, not really necessary for what we need to do just in this section. And once we start getting materials layered in, we'll show you that process layer by layer.